Is the royal family entertainment?
They shouldn't be. That's what I think.
What should they be?
They should just be the royal family, and we should just not care about what they do.
I'd argue they should only be entertainment.
Oh boy. Okay.
I argue that that's all they ought to be.
Okay.
Their pretense towards some kind of rulership after everything we've gone through.
Yeah.
In every century, but especially the 20th century.
Yeah.
I would say them just being the most expensive, and actually when you think about it, probably not, reality show still going. That's all they should be, right?
I guess.
Yeah, probably. The reality show you can die playing.
Oh boy. Wow.
Or certainly have your entire life ruined.
Yeah.
Well, 2 contestants are out of this game.
Yeah.
The Sussexes.
Yes.
I got a question for you. He's going to need a last name. They're both going to need a last name, right?
Yeah,
I mean, unless
probably.
they're just going to be the Markles, and I think that'd be a baller move.
Yeah.
But what's his last name?
I don't know. It's a good question. Windsor? I don't know.
Well, I guess by the long rope, but ooh, there you go. Spencer, right?
Oh, sure.
It was Diana's last name, right?
Yeah.
And she was, she was never a commoner exactly.
No.
But when she was, before she was HRH.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you do?
I don't know.
You're like a
anybody-
robot in a sci-fi movie. It's like, congratulations, you're sentient and alive. You have to pick a name.
Right.
You can't be
Right.
the Doctor because the BBC will sue us.
Right.
Then you're going to be Schmishmorshin or something.
But the Doctor in Voyager, he's just the Doctor.
Whoever thought that the Doctor from Voyager and Harry, one of the princes of Wales or whatever, would have the same problems.
Yeah. No, I would never have thought that. That's for sure.
And it's not fighting Grendel.
No.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
It's going to be picking a name.
I know. Has anybody else bowed out of stuff like this? I know Prince.
A real famous one.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, the king did one time.
Yeah, that's true.
Because his girlfriend really liked the Nazis.
Oh, right. That was a weird time.
Yeah, but they thought, okay, one in, one out. Let's have instead the son of the future king bow out because Britain doesn't like black people. Let's do that one instead.
Yeah.
So neither are really great.
No.
But at least for different reasons.
I guess. I feel bad for Megan. I feel bad that she's feels like she's being harassed, and I'm sure she dealt with some version of this when she was an actress in Hollywood, but probably not nearly to this extent. I mean, I think they are pretty invasive.
What are they going to do now?
Oh,
probably
they'll
keep
figure it
hanging
out.
out with Beyonce.
Yeah,
I'm just guessing here.
Yeah.
I think they're probably going to be okay.
I think so too.
Although I would say I've got a news story and then I've got just my own little shot here.
Okay.
I've read that, and you got to get it in when you can, quick. But the producers of The Crown are like, see you in season 5.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Or maybe season 6.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When you get Helen Mirren or whatever will take over from Olivia Colman, and we just push it forward to the present day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they
will do that.
Have they cast Diana yet? You watch the show.
I believe they have.
Oh, I don't know why I didn't hear about that.
For season 4, because there have been 3 seasons so far.
Right.
And the cast that is currently in place will still be playing the same characters for season 4, is what I've heard.
Right.
So yeah, we have not seen Princess Diana yet. We of course have seen a young Prince Charles and a young Camilla, because he actually met her when he was pretty young.
Oh no, he knew Camilla before.
Yeah.
Before Diana. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's weird. It's weird.
It's very weird, and it's very tangled, and and they the royal family basically was helped to make sure that she got married to this other guy, and Charles was not happy about it, and of course, in the show,
and now she'll never be. So what happens when his mother ever dies?
I know.
Not that we
want
wishing
that
for that. I'm just saying. It's held on for a while. And
Yes.
so I think the longest living English monarch at this
I
point,
think
right?
so, yeah.
And so if he ever takes over,
He will at some point.
Is it still, I don't know my Salic law. Is it matrilinear? Like, who are his kids going to, like, who's going to take over from him?
I think it will probably be William and Kate.
Assuming he doesn't quit.
Right.
Right, okay. Because Camilla can, like, share his house and his bed, but she'll never be anything to the British monarchy. Like, there'll nothing.
Her kids,
if William dies in a
have
helicopter,
together. Yeah.
right. I mean, at this point, it's it's a done deal. But I mean, if like William dies in a helicopter accident, God forbid, I don't know where we go from here because.
Maybe we go and bug Harry and say, like, are you sure? Are you really
Well,
out?
I think even he, just as the second son, is kind of far down. But at this point, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know if you then go to William and Kate's kids or something like that.
Yeah, I guess you would.
Yeah.
And then my thing is a reality show, right? It's a reality show.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they're not going to...
More or less is already.
Right, and with their sort of diminished role, because they just said, hey, we're out, and then the Crown's like, you can't leave. And apparently they came up with sort of a compromise where they're still technically connected to the royal family, but they can't claim, the Royal Highness title anymore.
Sure.
Which it's something similar that they did with Fergie and Diana both had the same thing.
Sure.
Like Princess of Wales, which doesn't really mean anything.
Right.
So they'll have a connection still, but in that connection, they'll be doing charity stuff. Mm-hmm. They'll be hanging out with the aforementioned Beyonce.
Sure.
This is a reality show come true.
Mm-hmm.
Like, screw Jessica and Nick. Like, this is going to be.
Yeah.
People would kill them to see this.
Yeah, I know.
And you can get, you know what? Hook up with the Obamas because they got their Netflix deal. Do it through Netflix.
There you go.
And this would run forever. This would be a follow-up to the British Baking Show. And you can have total control.
Yeah.
Right. They can't make you look like assholes. All you're doing is just like charity events and water relief or whatever.
Right.
And then and the Carters are performing, and I would watch this.
Yeah.
I want to watch this.
Yeah.
And then you could chart Megan's climb up the mountain back into Hollywood, because she's kind of got to start over.
Yeah.
I mean, you can put her in the Suits finale or whatever, but then she's got to start hitting the pavement and doing auditions again.
Do you think she will go back to Hollywood with all
Why
this?
wouldn't she?
I don't know.
She's got her youth. She's beautiful. I don't think I've ever seen her do anything, but I assume she's a good actress. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, she could just slot right back in.
Yeah.
Like nothing ever happened.
Right.
This crazy British adventure. And she wishes she'd never taken.
Right.
Yeah, that's my pitch.
Okay.
So I want a small cut of that. Just a co-producer.
Right.
I don't need EP or anything like that.
Sure.
But
yeah.
just get me on there. Well, we're the Just Enough Trope podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Yukon Hana.
And we are here to bring you all the news that's fit to cast in the world of nerdy entertainment.
Yes.
And talk about the tropes that are found in those forms of entertainment. And we got something special this week. Do you have anything? I was just going to start.
Oh, about our.
I was just going to start quoting 80s new wave lyrics.
Right.
But I guess we could just get right into the fact that we are talking about high school entertainment.
Yes.
I say movies, but it's not movies specifically because we are touching on the return of sex education on Netflix. Mm-hmm. But like all media these days, it all has to draw from what already exists.
Right.
Right?
Yes,
it's
definitely.
Vanity. It's all vanity. There's nothing new under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you going to, unless you're going to make a drama about Space Force,
right,
or Elon Musk being on Mars.
Right.
There's very little that's new in the human experience.
That's very true.
And I would argue some of the best stuff is exploring that.
Yes.
We're not talking about that.
No.
We're talking about high school movies with titles that are songs, song titles, and they're all written by John Hughes,
right?
And some of them directed by John Hughes.
Yes.
Can any high school movie be good? By my theory, if my theory is movies that are named after songs are uniformly bad.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
We're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. I know.
as far as the John Hughes thing goes. I think John Hughes movies, except for Home Alone, are exclusively named
After song
songs.
titles. Yeah. Okay.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know. Is Say Anything song title?
Actually, that's a really good. They probably wrote a song for the movie.
Probably.
But that doesn't really count, though. That's a great point.
Okay. I don't know.
All right, you broke the whole thing up.
Did I? Okay. Well, but
I already said Home Alone.
Yeah, you did. So maybe just
And
like
I don't
all the
think,
Molly Ringwald ones.
Oh, we're having breakfast.
Right.
Down at the Breakfast Club. Hey, maybe not.
Maybe not.
And I'd argue that his National Lampoon stuff doesn't count. So No Vacations.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. I would argue that that's true.
Ferris Bueller, he wants to get his day off.
Oh my
Give him the
gosh.
day. Hey. All right, it doesn't always work, but she's having a baby.
I
Right?
know. Yeah.
That's basically she's having my baby.
Yeah.
And Some Kind of Wonderful, Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles.
Yes.
I mean, how far do we have to go with this?
I know.
Dennis the
There's a lot
Menace.
of
Come
them.
on. And then he just moves into Beethoven, and then it's just about music.
Oh yeah. Man, I didn't realize he did Beethoven. Beethoven.
Well, this
the
is
dog, right?
Remember, but yeah, but he's got his fingers are in a lot of pies here because
I know.
it's not just he did that, and he did very. Well, I talked about she's having a baby before. He didn't do a lot of things that were like for adults.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess technically all of his high school movies are for adults, but
Technically.
like She's Having a Baby is about adults. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is about adults doing adult things.
Right. Absolutely.
But usually it's
teenagers.
about teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Molly Ringwald, who we'll talk about a little later, but as in her capacity as sort of the queen mother of John Hughes movies for sure, but just definitely high school movies in general, has had a lot to say in the 21st century about her role as the queen mother of these films. And John Hughes's weird obsession with her.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which I don't think we're going to delve too deeply into today.
All right.
Because we got plenty of other shitting to do on these terrible films. Whoops, I said the quiet part out loud. Are you a John Hughes film person?
I like some of them like a lot. Like I don't know, I like Say Anything a lot. I feel like for whatever reason, sorry Molly Ringwald, but I feel like Pretty in Pink and 16 Candles kind of like merge for me, and it's hard for me to totally recall which is which movie. So, but I feel like I've seen Breakfast Club quite a bit.
They do merge a lot though, don't they?
I feel like there's a lot of similarities between those two.
How poor is she in 16 Candles? I don't think she's specifically
poor. I don't think
poor.
she is.
But like Jake, what's his name?
Rich.
Is very rich.
Yeah. They have that moment. Aren't they like sitting on like a dining room table with like a cake with all these candles, and they're sitting like cross-legged? Yeah. But that's, I think, at her house, so I don't think that they're
so
poor.
She's got a nice.
I'm just trying to recall,
She lives with her grandparents. Now,
right.
This is a comment maybe on the extended Atomic Family of the 80s, but
isn't that where they have?
But they're hosting
an exchange
student, so they're probably doing okay.
Yeah, but the exchange student portrayal is.
We're not talking about that.
Okay, but
not yet.
Terrible.
We've got time for
awful.
that.
All right.
Yeah. You know that I famously was not allowed to watch movies.
Yes.
Pretty much all through the career of John Hughes.
Right.
So I missed all of these films, basically.
Sure.
I had to revisit them all as an adult. For some reason, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was okay because my dad was a Steve Martin fan, which tells you everything you need to know about my dad.
Right.
And Mr. Mom. Mr. Mom was okay for some reason.
It's wholesome, right?
Wholesome, but
questionably.
It's very funny, and I don't know. I feel like people would look back and go, "It's sort of a man has to take care of his kids."
I know.
What?
It was
But
a
I feel-
crazy thing back then.
But I feel that it's a little more balanced than that because it shows the sexism in the workplace of Terry Garr having to go back to work, and then Jack, Michael Keaton's having trouble. He's feeding chili to a baby.
Yeah, right.
And then at the end of the film, he does go back to work because there's some sort of upswing. And I guess they probably get bought by a Japanese company, right? In fact, isn't Gung Ho kind of like an unofficial sequel to Mr. Mom? Because then he's got to go to Japan and train them to work, or they come here. I can't remember. But Carolyn doesn't lose her job with the Schooner Tuna Company.
Right.
She actually improves there a lot with this great like ad thing that she comes up with.
Right.
And so they have it all at the end, which is maybe the least realistic part of it.
Yeah, right. Living just fine and 2 incomes.
Baby's not eating chili anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Moved on to other
220,
like,
221, whatever it took. Yeah. Well, okay, so that's what we're not talking about that though. We're talking about high school movies.
Yes.
And we're talking about that in our feature, along with our review of some of Sex Education Season 2, which we didn't want to blow through the entire thing, but we watched enough to get an idea of what it's going to be like this year. We'll be talking about that, but first I thought we'd talk about a little news. Attention, first period. This is your news for, did you have that in your high school?
No.
Just
we
Channel
did
1.
not. Huh?
Just Channel 1, right?
No, we didn't have anything
You
like
didn't
that.
have Channel 1?
We didn't have...
Your school was so rich that Channel 1 said, how about some free TVs? And you're like, we're good.
Yeah, we didn't
Wow.
have Channel 1.
That tells
I don't even know
me-
what that is.
Wow. That tells you everything you need to know about her, listener.
Oh, okay.
That she was, screw Molly Ringwald, Mika was Amanda Jones
Whatever.
in Some Kind of Wonderful.
I don't
right?
think I was that... I don't think my school was that well to do. I really don't.
Right? Eric Stoltz was poor, but he liked Amanda Jones,
Uh-huh.
who was played by, which, it's weird because there's a song called Amanda Jones, and I don't know if she's named after the song, or I don't know when the song
Right.
was written, but the movie is called Some Kind of Wonderful,
Right.
which was the Platters or somebody.
Don't know who
Anyway,
it
it
is.
was, yeah. So, but Eric Stoltz was from, the wrong side of the tracks.
Of course he was.
Yeah, but he didn't have it as bad as Elias Codius, who was about 35, I think, when he played the the punk guy in the high school.
Oh my gosh.
I actually don't know how old he is, but he's got to be older than Eric Stoltz, right?
Yeah, I would think.
Eric Stoltz bouncing back from losing the role of Marty McFly in Back to the Future.
Ooh. Ouch. Could have been a big role for him, but oh well.
Yeah, I guess. I went back in time after I was able to see movies, and then I had to learn all this.
Oh. I see. This is like extra work.
See, you don't appreciate it because you had it the whole time.
I see what you're saying.
I didn't see the darkness of a movie theater till I was a man. There's a lot of news, as there always is.
Of course.
I don't want to just assault people with the news, but is that where we're at?
I hope not. I mean, I'd like to just parse it out.
Well, let's parse it quickly. Did we talk
Okay.
about the Silence of the Lambs series?
I don't think we did on the air. No.
Okay, well, CBS All Access is going right up against Netflix and Quibi in terms of what they're trying to sign, but they're keeping a lot of it in-house, tapping Alex Kurtzman, who they have a development deal with, to have a sequel series to Silence of the Lambs. We've talked about this.
Oh, I think
we
you're
must
right.
have, yeah, because I remember talking about this. But anyway, it's called Clarice, and you're like, is she going to fight serial killers before she's... And I'm like, no, it's going to be set in between Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal sucks, so hopefully they'll, I don't know, do something.
Oh my gosh. I thought Hannibal was great for the first couple of seasons.
No,
and then it
I
was
mean
terrible.
the movie Hannibal.
Oh, the movie Hannibal.
Where
okay, excuse me.
they eat Goodfellas' brain.
Yeah, right.
And he says, am I a clown to you?
Oh my God.
Do I taste funny? That's the joke. So I already know about that. Westworld Season 3 coming out Ides of March. Although I don't think they're even smart enough to know that that's a thing.
No, I don't think they're doing that. Although they really should.
Yeah.
Yeah. cash in on that. But
I'm going to open this envelope, and look, it's the Oscar nominees.
Oh, boy,
I have
here
not
we
seen
go.
this yet, so you're going to get my reactions in real time.
all right.
Let's not talk about... Well, I'll read the Best Picture nominees off, and you let me know what is a tragedy by not being there.
Oh, okay.
Right?
All right.
Ford versus Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. I say if you can have 10, why not give the Return of the King nod to Avengers Endgame?
Yeah.
Right?
That would have been nice.
I mean, you can have 10 on here.
Right.
Although I will say that all of these films, for some reason, Ford versus Ferrari, but they've all had buzz for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They've all been... Little Women is probably the latest released of these films.
Right.
That and Ford and Ferrari. So they're all... It's not like the award season, holidays or whatever is what we were waiting for.
Right.
These have all had buzz for a long time.
Yes. Parasite is on there. I'm trying to think of what isn't on there that should be on there.
Yeah, the Lighthouse.
Oh, The Lighthouse. That's a good one. You said Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is on there?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to think of what else should be on there that isn't.
Well, if you think of it, let me know.
Okay.
Lead actor, we've got Antonio Banderas. No surprise there. Leo's up again.
Okay.
That's okay. Adam Driver, Joaquin Phoenix, and Jonathan Pryce for Two Popes.
Okay. I'm surprised there's nobody on there for The Irishman, I guess. But
well, see, the funny thing about The Irishman is, well, we'll get to it. Lead actress, we've got Cynthia Erivo, who I have to admit, I don't know who that is.
No,
but
I
I'm
don't
always
either.
excited to discover new performers. Scarlett Johansson. Is this her first lead actress nom?
it can't.
We're the movie
be.
people.
Can't.
We ought to know.
Yeah.
Saoirse Ronan for
Mhm.
Little Women. This is not her first nom.
No.
I am your sister, but you are my queen.
Yeah.
Charlize Theron is up for Bombshell, and Renee Zellweger for Judy.
Yeah.
And we're not going to talk about Judy
Yeah.
because I haven't seen it yet.
No, I haven't seen
But I want
it
to.
either.
Supporting actor Tom Hanks for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Why
What's
is
that
he
movie about?
supporting?
Is that about Mr. Rogers?
Yeah.
I wonder.
Why is he supporting? That's
I
so
don't know.
weird.
Yeah, it's a real Billy Crystal situation.
Did that happen to Billy Crystal at some point?
Yes, he wrote City Slickers and
Yeah.
wrote a part for what's his name? You are my number one guy. I don't do names anymore. You got to do names for me.
I have no idea who that is.
Jack Palance.
Okay. Sorry.
Wow. And Jack Palance won the Best Supporting Actor Oscar, and in Billy Crystal's old words, he didn't even get the goddamn nomination. So,
Wow.
Anthony Hopkins for The Two Popes. I guess he's the lesser of the two popes.
I guess.
Al Pacino and Joe Pesci are going to cancel each other out for The Irishman.
All right, there you go.
And then Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Look, Brad Pitt was fun in that movie, but was it a Oscar performance?
Well, he won the Golden Globe for it. Right.
Supporting actress, Kathy Bates, Laura Dern, ScarJo. There's that dreaded or that desired double nomination.
Yeah. That might cancel each other out.
Florence Pugh and Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
Director, Scorsese, Phillips, Mendes, Tarantino, and Junho.
Yeah, that
So
doesn't surprise
got those
me.
women in there. Good stuff.
Yeah, I know.
And yada, 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 some other stuff. Well, let's talk about screenplay, I guess. Irishman, Rabbit, Joker, Women, Popes. Original screenplay, Knives Out, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time, and Parasite. So this is just like dominated by Tarantino, Parasite, and old guys doing streaming stuff.
Yeah. I'm not particularly excited about the awards this year. Just like I wasn't really excited.
I'm
about
not
the
either.
Globes.
There's a surprising lack of variety here
Mm-hmm.
when that's usually the stock in trade for the awards is yes, we're going to give 1 million awards to La La Land, let's say.
Right.
But we can't let Moonlight slip by. We almost did because we screwed up.
Yeah.
But we can't let Moonlight slip by without at least honoring it with something.
Right.
And even if you tried to spread it around, would you hit Marriage Story? Like what? It's just gonna.
Yeah, it's
I think,
weird.
Unfortunately, I think Joker's probably going to clean up. And if Joker doesn't clean up, Parasite's going to clean up. Although it's so great, it's a best picture, it's a best screen. None of the actors.
No, you're right.
I just don't understand how the best directed and Best Picture film could feature none of the best performances.
Yeah, I think that's weird. I think they decided they were going to honor the film one way, and
they don't care about foreign actors.
Apparently,
so there you go.
Yep.
Wow. Well, let's say we'll have more coming up in the future.
Okay, sounds fair.
I used to be a real Oscars historian, and I have not cared in about 15 years or so. But maybe we'll rattle the old brain box and see if we can come up with some statistics about double nominations and wins and who's been nominated, and we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, the big story, I think, is that female directors and actors of color were pretty much shut out of this year.
Yep.
So thank God. That's life. That's life.
Oh, my gosh.
I used to like that song.
Yeah.
But it was in Joker, and that movie's way too long.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay. Speaking of white men doing good, NBC might bring Quantum Leap back for Peacock.
Oh, my God. Why?
You know what? I want to. Let's do that. Let's do it. I want to do it.
But is what's his name going to return?
I hope he does. But what if he can't? It's okay. You just get his kid. You get the kid from MacGyver or something like that. You just bring somebody else in. Let's have, because the boomers are still they refuse to die, so they would love this. Right now, it's on NBC. They won't be able to find it because it's not on CBS. But let's do it. We'll go back. It's a Please the Boomers show. We go back, but we deal with, even Quantum Leap was subversive. They had that episode where he was in the Navy and the guy was gay, right? And he had to help defend the guy. He was printing an underground paper. And so they did stuff like that. And we do that. We turn that up a little more, but it's mostly just, I used to have a dress like that.
All right.
Right? Mm-hmm. And then you could they never really cared about the time travel science side of it. They just hand waved a lot of that.
Yeah.
But now we're more sophisticated. You could don't do whole crazy things where we're storylines in the present or whatever.
Yeah.
No evil leaper, none of that BS. But we could turn the science side up a little bit more and
the sci-fi side.
But they won't. They'll do 10 episodes and it'll be a 10-hour movie.
Yeah. I think it could be better as a mini series or so. I think maybe that's more along the lines of what you were thinking or something like that.
But it's got to be a week-to-week show.
Yeah.
This week he's over here. This week he's over there. They find a way to, and maybe if you wanted to expand it more, even though I've just told you I'm selling it to boomers, you want to expand it a little more. An energy surge happened, and you're in the 1300s.
Right.
So now he's a knight, and we're on the back lot and using some of the props for that.
Yeah.
Whatever you can get away with on a TV budget.
Yeah.
And Sam, it turns out that if this princess doesn't marry this king, this is going to be a real problem.
Right.
And she's like, I don't want to marry this king. I want to marry my lady in waiting. Oh my God. 14th century lesbians.
Right. Wow. Never seen that before.
You do one.
I don't know.
It's going to be great.
I don't know. He's I have no idea. He's working in an arcade center and he's helping this kid who's a real loser. And then by the end of the episode,
he finds out the kid his trunk was full of guns, but now he's. Oh wait, that's not where you were going.
No,
oh, sorry. Give me your.
I was just gonna say he helps the kid beat the high score on a game or something like that.
The lowest of stakes. No, you got to do a thing where he's. You got to do a thing where the kid is his trunk is just full of guns.
Oh my God.
And he's like, "Hey, where you going?" He's like, I'm going to this thrift shop. I got a bunch of stuff I got to get rid of. It's like, Sam, you just prevented the biggest shooting massacre.
All right.
Right?
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Or do you want more stuff like the one where Satan decides to stop him? So he's leaping and he runs into Satan, and Satan's like, I got to stop you from. And the way that he manifests is he's in this house and it's haunted. So there's a car that comes to life, and and he sees a dark twin of himself, and then there's a dragon.
Oh,
right?
I definitely did not see this one.
You don't get it yet. Okay.
No.
And then at the end, he's like, oh, I guess it was all a dream. And the kid who's helping him, take care of the house is like, all right, well, I'll see you later. And he's like, okay, Stevie. Wait a minute.
What?
It was Stephen King.
Oh,
because they were in
I
Maine
see.
the entire
Oh
time.
my gosh!
It's
I thought you
pretty
were gonna.
dumb. Not that. Don't do that.
I thought you were gonna maybe make it be what's his name who created like D&D.
Oh, that's a good. Save that.
Yeah.
Here we are in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
Right.
Yeah. And then later on, he can leap into Tom Hanks on the set of Mazes and Monsters. Sometimes it would be really, because you always had to have that little check in there. So sometimes it's really dumb. There was an episode where, wow, I know a lot about Quantum Leap.
You do.
There was an episode where he leaps onto a pig farm.
Sure.
And I can't remember what it is, but I'm just going to guess that there's a son who doesn't want to do something, and the father's resentful, and he's got to get them to relate to each other.
Right.
And they do, right? And,
Yes.
And the entire time, there's a young ranch hand, who's always playing with his guitar instead of like pigging enough, right?
Uh-huh.
And so they're all done. We're in the last 20 seconds of the episode.
Yeah.
And the ranch hand's like, Piggy Sue, Piggy Sue.
Oh my god.
And he's like, hey, buddy, why don't you try Peggy? He's like, Peggy Sue.
oh my god.
And he's just like, is that what I was here to do? He's like, I guess so. Pew! And he
Oh
just
my
leaves.
gosh. Wow.
All right, we got to call this out. Here's something we got to cut out. Did you see the Morbius trailer?
Yes.
What do you think?
I'm still so confused. I mean, this is what I get from it, right?
What do you need to know?
Well, let me just tell you what I get from the trailer, what the trailer has told me.
Sure.
There is this scientist guy. He is very, very sick. He has tried just about everything. But then, for some reason, he's like, I know, bat DNA. And
that's the answer to we always look in the last place.
right? And then he, like, uses bat DNA on himself. And he becomes a vampire, but he's not dead, so he's Morbius the living vampire.
I gotta tell you, that's pretty much exactly what happens in the comics.
Okay.
He's
so,
Dr. Michael Morbius.
Yeah.
He's a hematologist or a blood doctor, and he's got a condition that's, I think, similar to porphyria or something like that. And
Okay.
That's exactly what it is. He uses a serum on himself
Yeah.
that's from vampire
Experiments
bats, and
on
he basically
himself.
becomes a vampire, yeah. But he's a living vampire.
Right. Because he's
So-
not dead.
Yeah, so
Somehow.
Blade tries to kill him, and then he's like, "Oh, wait a minute, I guess you're fine."
And, like, the design, I think this is from the comics. He's, like, very, like, pallid, like, skin. And then
Yes,
he's
he's very pallid.
And then I guess that
you
makes
poet
sense for
of
most
yore.
vampires. But he has, like, this upturned nose, too. Is that
Yeah, he's
supposed to
got
be,
a-
like, bat-like?
Like a batty nose.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Now here's the thing.
Hmm.
What's the story? You just told me like the origin.
I've got no clue what the story is.
I mean, if
honestly.
it's Sony, so it's going to be the worst thing anybody can think of.
Well, we
So-
see Vulture in the trailer
Yeah,
too.
well, speaking of Mr. Mom, yeah, Mr. Mom's in it,
I know.
which is like, you remember when you were so excited that Tom Holland cried enough that they put Spider-Man back in the MCU?
Yeah.
And you thought that all your problems were over?
Yeah.
They only got worse.
Yeah.
Because Sony, remember, owns all that stuff.
I know.
And they own the Vulture and they own everything.
Mhm.
And so all you did was just give more money to Sony to basically go one more film, and then no amount of crying in the world is going to get Tom Holland back in the MCU.
Right.
And they're going to run off and just ruin everything with their own stupid universe.
They're on their way right now.
Yeah, that's everybody effing loves Into the Spider-Verse so much, but I hope you know that Into the Spider-Verse means that Spider-Man will never be
Part of the MCU.
in Marvel Studios films.
Yeah. Right. I know.
So slow clap guy, start now. Wait, too soon.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't look great.
No.
They'll just do like, and then another guy takes a bigger bat serum and he's even worse. So Morbius has got to take him down.
Right. Right.
I don't
know what it's
not
gonna
excited
be like.
about it.
No.
Not really excited at all. Did you hear that Billie Eilish will be doing the theme for the new James Bond movie?
Did hear that. And I think you and I were talking off air, and I was like, so that's going to be for the new one. And you were like, yeah, it's not like it takes really long to produce or come up with.
No, you can they turn them around pretty fast.
Yeah. I just hope she does it better than Adele.
Well, you didn't like the Adele one?
I
was
guess
trying to think.
it was okay. I
when
just didn't like the movie.
I don't know. Here's what I know about Adele. I'm making a circle with my hand.
0.
When did 25 come out? Did that come out before or after Skyfall?
I think
that's one of her albums, right?
Yeah, I think it was before.
Okay, right.
I'm not 100% sure.
Well, I don't know who the youngest person to do a Bond theme used to be, but now it's Billie Eilish.
Yeah, because she's like, what, 18? Which is just insane to me.
People are young, and then they get older.
I know, but
just
she's
look
like...
at Adele. You can chart it by her album.
But she's like so famous, and she's only 18. And that makes me feel so old.
Oh, she's got a good head on her shoulders.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Like,
true.
I thought she was like 20, and then I found out it was 18, and that just makes it
Plus,
worse.
she's been doing this for long enough to
Yeah.
already have had a career switch over.
Yes.
Like when she was 13, she was doing this.
Yeah.
And she was doing a real, like Brie Larson singing career type thing. She was like this poppy kind of like, hey,
goody two shoe.
Ooh, I love the mall.
Right.
And then suddenly it's like blood. Something else too is, I'm sure it's fine. And I think that she's a good singer. I don't really know because all of her songs she's just kind of whispering in or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they'll try to make the Bond theme Billie Eilish, or if Billie Eilish will, they'll just bring out the Shirley Bassey brass or whatever, and then she'll try to do something over that.
Yeah,
it's going to have to have a little bit of Eilishness, but it has to have a little bit of.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why bring her in?
Oh, no,
but
that's a fair point.
don't do a Madonna though.
God, I don't remember the Madonna.
It's like
yeah.
Madonna was in the middle of her like techno dance thing.
Yeah,
Not
not great. I like the garbage one more than that.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. So it's exciting, and I look forward to hearing it.
Yes.
More than the Sam Smith one, anyway.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings has announced its cast.
I know. I saw this.
You don't know any of them. I don't know any of them.
No, they're all no names.
Yeah. Except for Morfydd Clark, or we talked about that, and I still don't know if that's how you say her name. But I don't know. Or I think Charlie Vickers sounds familiar.
I got no clue.
Charlie Vickers. I'm Charlie Vickers. He sounds like a Peaky Blinders
character. Yeah, it does.
He was in Medici and Death in Shoreditch. Nope.
Okay.
I got no clue. Got nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't know any of these people.
No.
It's just a bunch of British people. So
do you? I saw somebody post on social media how J.R.R. Tolkien's son, who was 95.
Oh, yeah, that is. We were getting to that.
But... just recently passed away.
Yeah.
And somebody was speculating that there will now be more films, more adaptations and everything, because like who is really minding the store on whether or not
who's minding the store? The people who got mad at Tolkien, the biopic, that just wanted to honor Tolkien, and they're like, that's not how it works.
So there's got to be more people besides his son who are minding the store, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. There's a whole estate.
Okay.
And yes, Christopher Tolkien published like 25 books based on his father's original work. Here's the thing. I don't think so.
Okay.
I
don't think that's going to happen?
No. Although we're in uncharted waters as far as just like milking something completely bone dry.
Yeah,
But look at, you could have taken the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe thing to 7, and they couldn't even make it that far.
No.
So the second the returns stop or like don't meet the expenditures, this is over.
Yeah.
We're not going to get down to the Children of Turin or whatever. It's not going to get that far.
Well, there's Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. You bring up a good point. Like that's something that I feel like the adaptations, like film or TV or what have you, has never really gotten to all of the books before.
Excuse me, the BBC?
Did the BBC version do it? I thought that they just did like the first one.
I was assuming. Maybe not.
Maybe I don't know.
Oh, yeah, one day we'll get the last battle. The most didactic and insulting of the 7 books in the series. I know. Can't wait.
Oh, boy.
Priyanka Chopra Jonas.
Yes.
This is the Bollywood actress that married one of the Jonas brothers.
Yes.
I'm going to say Greg.
Oh, God, that's not one of their names.
And Richard Madden, the guy that played Rob Stark.
Yes.
And is that a real Blaze, or does he just think that he needs more character?
I have
I don't want to insult
clue.
a man with a real blaze, but they are both playing the lead roles in the upcoming Russo Brothers drama series at Amazon. This was the thing that was announced a little while ago.
Yeah.
That's done in connection with Amazon, of course, and also ITV and a Indian production company.
Oh yeah, we've talked about this.
And it's called Citadel, and we don't know anything else about it. But if Richard Madden's in it, it's probably going to be like guns and terrorism, because that seems to be his thing these days.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
It's not going to be some love story about somebody in the Raj, like he's a British guy and she's a
right.
I don't think it's going to be anything like that.
Okay. I mean, I guess I'm marginally excited because it is the Russo brothers, and I do like seeing their work, but we shall see.
Oh my God, we got so much more.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just going to start shooting them out. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Superman and Lois and Walker, Texas Ranger both got ordered to series at CW.
Okay.
This is Superman and Lois starring Elizabeth Tulloch and Tyler Hoechlin as Lois and Clark, as seen on the Supergirl show. They're getting their own show.
Oh, okay.
And then the Jared Padalecki Texas Walker Ranger.
Yes, I think we had talked about that before.
Yes. And
yeah.
we're talking about it right now.
Yeah.
John Wick TV series The Continental is on track to come out on Starz in 2021.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm assuming it's not going to be Keanu.
No, but it will definitely be, what's his name? McNulty, right?
Oh, you think?
Yeah. And who knows? Ian McShane might be like, I got time for that.
Oh my gosh. Ian McShane is like everywhere lately. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think that, yes. I think an actor in his late 60s. I think.
Yeah.
He looks great for 70.
Yeah.
Like, you want to hire me? Yes, I'll take that.
Fair.
Do I have to play gay?
Yeah.
I love to pretend that I'm gay.
Oh my God.
But he's not gay.
No.
He was married to Emmanuel. What else we got? Looks like the Amazon Studios Wheel of Time fantasy series production is still in production, but we've got no other word. This is, the TCAs happen, so this is all TCA news.
Oh, okay.
And they basically just said, we're still doing it. It's like, okay.
Well, we'll see it. Believe it when we see it.
Good luck with that 15-book series.
Yeah.
Thought you'd have something by now.
Right.
But no, we're still working on it.
All right.
It's still happening. What else is going on? Oh no. Blow the taps, or whatever the Confederacy blows when somebody's dead, because Confederate, the HBO project that Benioff and Weiss were going to work on, is finally dead.
Oh, I thought it was already dead.
Oh no, it was
It was being
circling
shopped
the drain
around for a while.
It was suffering from a long malaise, but now it is finally dead.
Oh my God, I'm glad, because I think that this was a terrible idea. So I'm glad it's done.
Cooler heads prevailed there.
Mm-hmm.
The same heads that are launching The House of the Dragon in 2022, the Game of Thrones prequel series. If you like siblings getting it on, tune in in 2022.
Yeah. That's a ways off still.
How'd that one go? And dragons, I guess. But the other one's got like green people, and it's up at the First Men. And
yeah, I don't know what happened
that one
with
didn't
that. The pilot must have been just dreadful for them to be like, no. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the Game of Thrones pilot famously was terrible, and they reshot the entire thing.
I know, but they must have just decided we're not doing that. Yeah.
And it's like Star Trek. Star Trek first pilot. I don't think so. Right. And they're like, please. And they're like, all right. 50 years later,
I know.
they're still making money off of Star Trek.
Right.
That's if at first you don't succeed, do it again.
Right. Exactly.
Come on, HBO Confederate. Let's see it.
No.
Speaking of things maybe not getting a chance, looks like there ain't going to be no Mindhunter season 3.
I saw that.
Well, let me tell you and the audience why. Netflix has not exercised the option to renew the contracts of the cast.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been canceled, and Netflix will cancel stuff. Like they will come out and say, we're done. But this is just, they didn't pick everybody up, basically keep them on hold. So if you're Holt McElhaney, you're kind of in a Ian McShane position where it's like, I need to take work if people offer me work.
Yeah.
I can't just sit here. And so it seems like that's bad news for the show, because look at Hollywood today. You think we don't need Cole Hauser's, what's his name?
I don't know.
Holden.
Oh yeah,
Caulfield.
Holden. I don't remember what Holden's last name is.
Some white guy with a comb over
Yeah.
and like a striped tie. We need him in Hollywood, don't we?
Yeah.
He's got to be in The Irishman too.
All right.
So it kind of looks like the show's dead.
Well, what I heard was that David
From your
Fincher
sources.
is pursuing other projects right now,
He doesn't have to do
which
it.
are with Netflix, and he felt bad holding the cast over. So they made it sound like it was his decision to let the cast go, but I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, I guess if they didn't want any Emmys, maybe we wouldn't have this conversation.
Maybe not. But I
Thank
hope
God
that.
world's most listless loiterers got that award,
Oh
though.
my gosh!
Uh,
I hope that season 3 happens at some point.
Yeah, me too. In good news, the Dark Tower series is not going forward on Amazon.
Okay.
I don't. Maybe this isn't. Maybe it's not that great.
Mm-hmm.
I've read the entire book series.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not that great.
Yeah.
Maybe it gets really meta and inside when Stephen King gets hit by a car.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of, he crawls up inside his own ass and he's
Right.
just kind of doing his own mythology.
Mhm.
I don't know if you would do all that. Who do you cast as Stephen King?
Right.
His kid. Answer my own question. So that ain't going to happen. It looks like HBO Max is going to have an Aquaman animated series that James Wan is going to produce.
Okay. Strange.
No, not strange. Aquaman.
I know, but why on HBO? I mean, I guess they have Sesame Street, but
They want to be in the James Wan business,
Okay.
I guess. Where's the see, we should know the answer. Where's the Harley Quinn show going to be? That's not on HBO, is it?
I don't think it's on HBO. I don't know if
Well, it's on a sweary network, I know
Yeah.
that. Here's a non-sweary network. The Punky Brewster sequel series is going to show at the Peacock.
Oh, boy.
Soleil Moon Frye.
Wow.
Well, come on, let's pitch it. Soleil Moon Frye.
Yeah.
Okay, so Henry's long gone.
Yeah.
So is Brandon.
Uh-huh.
So
the
it's
dog.
Punky's all by herself now,
Oh my God.
right?
Yeah.
And Punky did Punky have a kid, or you got to keep the premise together, right?
Uh-huh.
So for whatever reason, Punky just never put it together. Let's say Punky had a successful career as an artist. Let's say that she was a sculptor, right? And so she's been sculpting, she's doing stuff, and just never found time for a family. Now a vulnerable girl, it finds herself, in Punky's place.
Sure.
And Punky, without even really realizing that, this is just like herself.
Yeah.
Is going to take care of this kid, and that's a terrible pitch, but that's probably what it is.
Yeah, I could totally
this
see
thing
that, honestly.
writes itself in the worst way.
Yeah. I hope they do something a little bit different, but yeah, I could totally see that happening.
Well, if that wasn't tired enough, Peacock is also going to have a MacGruber show and an Adventure Zone show.
What? Like MacGruber, like the SNL skit MacGruber?
Yes.
Is it going to star, what's his name?
Of course it is.
Okay.
What is he doing?
Wow, I don't know.
He was in Booksmart.
Yeah.
As a favor.
I know.
As a favor to the director's friend, director's husband is a friend of his.
Right.
Adventure Zone is, see, if we had pulled the trigger when I said this before, could have been us. Adventure Zone is a podcast where they play D&D, and so it's going to be an animated cartoon show.
Okay.
It could have been us. Did we talk about how Watchmen is over?
I don't think we talked about that yet.
I don't want to get too into this, but
Yeah.
Watchmen is just going to go one season because Damon Lindelof quit, and here's why it happened. Damon Lindelof, his name has become synonymous with, wow, you effed this up really bad.
Yeah.
And he did one episode of this, or one season of this series, which, why would you even try? But it was all about, like, racial issues.
Yes.
It was about how tough black people have it.
Right.
Thanks, bald white guy.
Right.
Everybody loves it. He nailed it. That's when George Costanza, I'm out.
Walk away.
Good night.
Yep.
Why would you do a second one? It can only get worse. There is no benefit to you.
Yeah.
So that was smart. He made a smart move, I think.
Yeah.
But for people who like the show, sorry, there's not going to be another one.
Yeah, I guess the series supposedly ended on kind of a cliffhanger.
We are still not done yet with news, so let's say real fast. Hey, remember God Loves, Man Kills?
I've heard of it.
It's a really good Marvel graphic novel by Chris Claremont and Jackson Geese? I don't remember who did it. They're releasing a director's cut.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means.
I'm confused with comics what that means.
Here's what it means. It means that Chris Claremont and Brett Anderson are going to rewrite it basically with a modern day framing device and some extra scenes.
What? That's so weird.
So it's going to be about gay people, I'm guessing. The art looks terrible because this cover's by Salvador Larroca, which is like, that's the worst thing that could have happened.
Okay.
Reboots have reached the classics now.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, rebooting Casablanca.
Stop it.
This is more like God Loves, Man Kills is like rebooting Night of the Hunter or something like that.
Okay.
It's no Casablanca, but it's important.
Yeah. It just sounds lame.
And you can find it on Peacock. No, you can't.
Wow.
Peacock will cost $10 if you want to go ad free. Taika Waititi is in talks to develop a Star Wars movie.
Oh my god.
Why?
I don't know.
So hot right now.
Everybody is in talks for a Star Wars movie.
Well,
I know.
No, there are people I wish were. We talked about The Banker before and how that was taken off Apple Plus, more or less, right? Well, Apple still has distribution rights, and they're going to release it in theaters in March.
Okay.
So people will have a chance to see The Banker.
So that's the one with Samuel L. Jackson and who else?
Courtney B. Vance. I don't know.
I thought maybe it was Anthony Mackie, but I couldn't remember right if it was or not. No? Okay.
Oh, that'd be perfect though.
Yeah.
Because his catchphrase would actually fit in the movie.
Cash check.
The biggest news of all. This long ass thing of news. We're almost done.
Yeah.
Disney has decided to drop the Fox name from 20th Century Fox Studios. It shall now just be 20th Century Studios. And I'm like, why stop there? If you're against future-proofing something, why not have it be 18th Century Studios? Why not 12th Century Studios?
Why not change it? Because 20th Century
why not call
is
it
in the past now.
Anything different. But no, it's 20th Century Studios. Guess what?
What?
Somebody did not want to work today.
Yeah.
Bob Iger's like, I don't care. I have a massage scheduled. Speaking of Fox, Hank Azaria will no longer be voicing Apu on The Simpsons. That's probably pretty good. Let's move on. It's not even a news story.
All right.
It's about time. Here's another thing. Speaking of actors who have been in Disney movies, Oscar Isaac is going to star and produce an adaptation of the comic book Ex Machina. And my thing is, were you just looking through scripts, Oscar, and you went, oh, how'd this old script get in here? Wait, this is a different thing? Remember Oscar Isaac was in a movie called Ex Machina?
This is a different thing.
Yes, this is the was it Wildstorm? It was a comic book. It's Brian K. Vaughan.
Okay.
Let me finish. And it's about a guy who runs for mayor of New York City.
Okay.
He was originally a superhero and he can talk to machines. And because it was written at a certain time, although it's not really all that important, he stopped the second plane on 9/11.
Oh.
So there's one tower still.
All right.
And because he was a hero who was kind of doing things secretly, but then he had to reveal his identity, people know him as the hero of 9/11. It's basically like, what if Rudy Giuliani, but younger and a liberal?
Sure.
And then, of course, because Brian K. Vaughan can't end anything, the series falls apart and has a effing terrible ending.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
And it won't end that way, no matter however they do this TV show, movie.
So this is going to be animated, you said?
No, live action.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, actually, animated would be kind of cool.
Okay. Why? Like, aren't you afraid of like brand confusion? Like people are going to be.
They're going to call it the Great
Machina?
Machine, which was the superhero's name, and is not a very good name for a movie. But somebody took Ex Machina already. That's what trademarks are for.
Okay.
Hey, remember how Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a Hollywood maven now? Remember how he was a producer and I think wrote one of the episodes of the Veronica Mars reboot? Well, he's going to produce a
wow.
Revolutionary War documentary called Black Patriots at History Channel. And it's going to be about the unspoken or poorly remembered black figures of the Revolutionary War period, of which there are many, starting with Crispus Attucks and going all the way down.
Okay. I mean, that doesn't sound terrible.
That sounds better than the Veronica Mars season on Hulu.
Right?
What else? Julian Fellows. Hello, I'm Julian Fellows. I'm working on a Downton Abbey feature film sequel.
Yeah.
I guess after they get done shooting The Gilded Age, which that's the big dice roll, right?
Yeah.
Julian, eyes on the prize.
Yeah, right.
You got to get this thing rolling.
Yeah.
You gotta. This is half and half, right? This is going 50%. That's when you get hurt,
right?
But anyway, he won't let go of the Downton Abbey brand, and he wants to do a feature film sequel.
Again, I mean, I feel like they pulled it off, but
yes.
I guess.
And didn't Cousin Violet's like, well,
she's like gonna die anytime soon.
Well, she's gonna die, and then right, and then the Dowager Countess is like, well, I'm not gonna die on screen in this movie, but I won't be around very long.
Right.
And Julian Fellows is like, that's not true. You'll be around as long as I say you will.
Oh my gosh.
So we'll see what happens with that. Here's some really weird news from the world of film. Bad Boys 3 has come out. It made about $65 million and crushed Doolittle. And also, here's the weird part. Okay. It's good?
That is what I've heard. Like, I've heard that it plays to the strengths of what the original two films did, and and it's just kind of more of that, and because of that, it's
so not
good.
The second movie at all. Then
I don't know.
A lot of people, it's at 76% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
and they've already greenlit a Bad Boys 4.
Wow.
One last time.
Yeah.
One last time.
I
Mike
feel like
Lowry.
They feel like they said
Bad Boys 4
one last time a lot. So.
I've heard a lot of people say that like Bad Boys 2 is where Michael Bay really became Michael Bay. And I would agree.
All right.
Bad Boys 1 is fine. It's a fun cop movie that every scene takes place at 4:59 p.m. for some reason.
Sure.
And it's got a weird like mistaken identity plot in it that does not need to be there, but kind of makes it more fun. Everybody forgets Tay Leone was in that movie. Everybody forgets that Tay Leone exists. And it's fine. It's a totally fine movie. The second one is a nightmare.
I thought the second one was supposed to be really good.
Mm-hmm. Everybody, you know how everybody loves, I don't know, fill in the blank there. It's one of those.
Oh, okay.
It ends with an invasion of Cuba that doesn't get us into war with the Soviets for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
All right.
And all of this has led to a 4.6 plunge in U.S. movie admissions.
Wow.
Even though it's that weird thing now. Even though Disney has made a record amount of money, somehow movie tickets are down.
It's so weird to me.
But it's not that weird when Disney owns 75% of the IP in Hollywood.
Yeah. But if Disney's doing so well, then why are the sales down? That's what I don't understand.
Because they're the only ones making the money.
Oh, okay. So overall, overarching everything, it is down.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
If there are five different lemonade stands on your street, right?
Yeah.
And then you hire like the pituitary case in class to go knock over everybody else's stands and make them into yours. But then people are like, I don't want to buy lemonade from that little thug.
Right.
You're a thug.
Oh my gosh.
And people started buying less lemonade. You made all the lemonade money, but it was less lemonade money.
I see.
So you had a record summer, but it was less in the market.
I see.
Somehow.
Okay.
I don't understand it either. And our last story, I thought this was interesting. Chris Hemsworth is getting ready to host a science series for the National Geographic Channel.
Okay.
Yes, it's going to be called Limitless.
All right.
And it's going to be pseudoscience, it looks like.
Oh,
it's going to be ask questions such as what if aging is not inevitable, or what if aging is a disease that can be cured?
Oh my goodness.
So he's going to aim to transform himself by training for 6 extraordinary challenges, showing how to fight aging at every stage of life.
That's kind of weird, I gotta say. Not sure how I feel about that.
And it looks like it is being produced partially by Darren Aronofsky's Protozoa Pictures.
What? This just gets weirder and weirder.
And he's going to do a ton of improv because it's just, you get him in front of the camera.
He's
and
just hilarious.
He's hilarious. People just laugh at him. It's funny.
Right.
I can't wait till I find out.
I am speechless.
I can't wait till I find out that, that some nootropic drug company is funding this or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's doing an infomercial basically, right?
Oh,
I mean, if that's true.
Yeah.
Even if it's not true, it's worthless. He's like, "Oh, I'm Chris Hemsworth. None of us want to get old, but do we have to get old?
Right.
Watch me do some bicep curls. Like what?
What are we getting
out
of this? Yeah. Is he going to be wearing a white lab coat?
But just a white lab coat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing under it. I mean, maybe like biker shorts.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
And then brainy specs.
Yes.
And he's like, come on this journey with me as we look to see if, bless you.
Excuse me.
I can tell that you're allergic to sexiness.
Welcome to Virtual Theater. I'm Andy Spiteri.
And I'm Gooey Fame.
The day Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
If you're a gamer, a movie buff, or both, you're going to want to check out our podcast on video game movies and the stories that shape them.
Luigi, it's a mushroom. Come on.
Trust the fungus.
We let you decide which movies we cover via Twitter poll. So be sure to follow us on Twitter at VirtualTheaterX.
Right, you can hear him talking.
Yeah. Pika, pika, pika.
They can't understand me, kid.
And give us 2 thumbs up by subscribing on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The fate of billions will depend upon you. Sorry.
We are a part of the Just Enough Trope Network.
All right, I mean, gosh, I wish the news didn't go so long. How do we go back to 2 a week?
I don't know.
We do a new show. Let's get rid of that and then do the main feature.
We could,
because
but that's a lot.
I feel like the news is consuming the show.
Yeah.
But never you mind about that. Let's talk about the teen movie.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think that we kind of buried the lead on this because what we didn't mention was when we started thinking about the tropes of teen films, we thought, why are we doing all the work? Let's let Hollywood do the work for us.
Right.
And so we watched Not Another Teen Movie.
Uh-huh.
Because we thought, wow, what a perfect way to encapsulate, just distill all of the tropes of teen films.
Yep.
And guess what we learned? That was wrong.
Yeah.
Instead, we boiled down all the tropes of bad joke writing, borderline racism as comedy,
Yep.
Tourette's humor.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we came up with.
Yep.
I had never seen Not Another Teen Movie. I didn't know that I had dodged just a volley of bullets.
Yeah, you really
until
had.
now. And then I said, "No, bullets, come back and get me." And then they got me.
I sadly had seen this before, but it had been a while.
But you had blessedly forgotten most of it.
Yes, as any bad movie that I see kind of gets filed under the unimportant, do not need to remember.
I'd argue some of the important ones
All right.
get shoveled in there too.
But yeah, I did not remember a lot of it. So it was as if I was watching it for the first time.
Speaking of Sony, this was a Columbia picture. Let's go through the dry
boy.
stuff. This movie was directed by Joel Gallen. If you've never heard that name, it's because it's the only movie that he ever directed.
Great.
Although he has done a ton of other stuff. TV,
Okay.
award shows. He's
Weird.
directed a lot of like filmed entertainment. This is the only that I could find feature
Movie.
film that he's directed. And it was written by, as you can imagine, a team of people.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't recognize any of the names really, but a couple of them also wrote, Scary Movie,
Yeah,
or were
right.
writers on Scary Movie.
Right, because this is more or less supposed to be a similar team.
Right, but this isn't like the Zuckers or anything like that. This isn't really related to that. I was surprised because a lot of these like crappy, hey, reference joke
Yeah.
movies boil down to Abrams or Zucker or like offshoots of their like production.
Right.
You know, I'll do it myself.
Right.
And instead, this is weirdly unconnected to anything. Like a bunch of guys just got a wild hair up their ass to try to capitalize on the
teen
high school
movie.
movies, the teen movies of the late 90s. And we got this. And it's not, the story has a bad ending because we got this movie.
Yeah.
It's depressing.
It is.
As we went through,
and
it's
predictable.
Boy. Well, it's predictable when it just draws off of all these other films. And I'm not going to list all the films that it tries to make fun of or it draws on for inspiration. Mm-hmm. But I did find it ironic that a film that every 2 minutes goes out of its way to reference another film, either visually or through a character who's dressed exactly like a character from a famous film.
Right.
I thought it was interesting that the overarching plot of the film is just she's all that.
More or less. Yeah.
Like I thought that like you would take, because they have all these other elements that are like references and are there, but aren't like the actual plot of the movie is just she's all that. Mm-hmm. Like there wasn't any way to come up with some Avengers Endgame sort of ultimate combination of all these things. No, we just did she's all that.
Yeah.
And I know it's like, if you're going to take a plot, that or 10 Things I Hate About You are the safest because they're the oldest. Like, in fact, Shakespeare is older than Shaw. So if you're going to do Pygmalion, but it's still, and then it's the movie's framing device, which like makes it all like, wink, wink, it works, is John Hughes not only is, you know, they go to John Hughes High School, but all these movies exist in their world.
Right.
Which is not a device that works at all.
No.
Like the main character, Janie, she likes these movies so much, she pleasures herself to them.
Yes.
But then when in her life, like these things are playing out, she doesn't recognize them
ahead
of the curve because
she
I mean, that'd be like a delirious situation, right?
Right.
Like what if she was the John Candy and she's like, oh, I know what's going to happen now because this always happens in these films. She could be the trope master.
Sure.
But instead, no, she's just pumpkin tits.
Yeah, I know.
Except for what we've already said, can you give us a brief idea of what happens in the film?
Oh my god. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head with the she's all that thing. Like Janie is supposed to be like Rachel Lee Cook, glasses and a ponytail and paint on her overalls. Oh my god.
Did she say no to this?
Probably.
There are some weird,
didn't ask her, but
very weird. I was going to say non-specific, but they're actually very specific cameos that don't really work much at all. And I thought there's only like 2 cameos. We're not spoiling anything. Melissa Joan Hart.
Yep.
And then, of course, at the end, Molly Ringwald. But they must have asked other people, right? Mm-hmm. Why not just ask? And it's the TV's fuzzed out, and I think this is for a reason. Was that an actual shot of She's All That she's watching at the beginning? Or was that like a recreation? Because that person didn't look like Freddie Prinze all that much. Although I'm not sure I've ever seen that She's All That.
I think it was the real movie, but it was like a really bad copy.
Right, but why would they make it a bad copy?
I don't know.
Later on, she watches Pretty in Pink, and it's fine.
I know.
Harry Dean Stanton is in that scene. Of course, a lame but okay joke, that Harry Dean Stadium at John Hughes High.
Yeah.
They must have asked Harry Dean Stanton to be in this thing, right?
Probably.
So anyway, Rachel Lee Cook and Harry Dean Stanton, all the 3 named actors said no.
Right.
Oh, wait, Melissa Joan Hart.
Oh, there you go.
She's in.
Yeah. What about Michael something Hall? Michael Jordan Hall? What is his name?
Tongues out.
Michael C. Hall? What is his name?
Philip Baker Hall he's in all those Paul Thomas Anderson movies. These 3 named guys got to stick together. You're talking about the Dead Zone guy. I know what you mean. I can't remember his name. What happens in the movie?
Anyways, basically it's the plot of She's All That. And her thrown in was some 10 Things I Hate About You. Like her brother is like, I can't have sex until you have sex, and like, and you know, we have the cliques, and like we have the guy at the very beginning saying like, this school isn't in cliques, and now we're gonna split you guys up into 3 different groups. And
there are so many things in this movie that have the shape of a joke. But then that shape is just filled with like rotten ground beef.
Yeah.
Like I liked that, where we got this, it's this group of people. They're all basically just straight from central casting.
Yes.
And he's like, everybody here treats each other equal. Don't worry about it. So let's split you up into your tour groups here. All you guys in the leather jackets, stand over there. All you sluts, come stand over here. Hey, nerds in the back.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that, he's like, these are the only people you'll know for the entire thing.
I
It's
know.
like you're even going against the thing that you just said.
That's true.
It doesn't have any comedic tension after that.
And I feel like there's a lot of that in this movie.
So I'm sorry for making you try to describe the plot of this film.
It's hard. How do you describe
is no plot.
it?
It's impossible.
Yeah.
But you can talk about the individual things.
Racism
Racism is very funny. Did you know that?
Oh, no, it's not. It's not okay.
I'll never blame an actor for anything unless they're also a writer and director. But if you're Sam Levine, you don't need this that much, do you?
I don't think so.
There isn't even a joke here. It's a Jewish kid acts like a Chinese guy.
Yeah.
But instead of just dressing like him and maybe saying, boy, I love fast cars and egg rolls or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just going to go, so sorry. And it's like,
yeah,
wow.
I know.
Wow.
Broken
English. You're going to be, you were in Freaks and Geeks, man.
I know.
You don't need this.
No, I know what you're saying. And then like they had the token black guy who said that he was the token.
Oh no, there
guy.
are no token black. Oh, I see what I'm sorry. I got it.
And they I guess they were trying to make a joke by like changing his hair for like different scenes. Like, was that supposed to be funny, or I don't really understand.
It's 5 white guys.
Yeah.
Who are forced to? They're stuck now. They got to write jokes for this black character.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good premise, which I feel like has been in other things, but of the black guy is like, I'm just here to say whack.
Yeah, right.
And then throughout the rest of the movie, all he says is whack.
Yeah,
and so again, you've set up your premise and then you immediately violate it and you just go with what you were trying to point out.
Right.
And then later on he goes to the party and there's another black guy in there. He's like, ooh, sorry. Hey, I'm the only black guy at this party. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
And he gives him his drink.
Yeah. He's like, okay, I'll see you later. I mean, okay, there's flashes of good stuff.
Do we want to talk about the cheerleading bit that was really bad?
No, we don't have to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
Although I will say that I guess technically Bring It On is a high school movie. It came out before this because they were making fun of this.
Yes.
The whole thing where the one cheerleader's like, you got to bring it on. And then Jamie Price is like, oh, it's already been brought.
Yeah.
I remember that. And I thought that was from a Bring It On film. In fact, I thought
like
Jamie Presley was in the Bring It On films, and she was not.
I don't think she was.
No.
But I feel like that was in Bring It On, though. I feel like it was.
It's pretty... Oh, so... But that's not a joke then.
Yeah,
In fact, you wouldn't just say... that couldn't have been, because you're attacking your own title, your own premise.
I guess, but I seriously... I feel like I remember it.
It'd be like in The Irishman if like Al Pacino's like, you think I'm the Irishman?
Yeah,
You're not the Irishman, I'm the Irishman.
Yeah, I know.
Which is a scene from that movie. It is, wow. You know when it was? I was about to say, I don't know when the subtlety and controlled over the topness of an airplane became horseshit. And the answer is Airplane 2.
Wow.
Airplane 2 sucks.
Yeah.
And doesn't get Airplane 1 really at all. Airplane 1 is the one where Robert Stack kung fu fights everybody, right?
I think so.
Yeah. And then in the meantime, you've got fit Kentucky Fried Movie in there somewhere. And somebody saw Kentucky Fried Movie, which I think was an Abrams and Zucker one, right? And went, well, this is all I have to do. Tits. Right. And then like you go, oh, hey, have you seen a joke?
Yeah.
Because I want to chase it down and beat it to death.
Right.
And that's what we got. Do you think that there is any meat on the bone here? Like, do you think that high school movies have... we can do this. We can make fun of the things in them.
Yeah. I mean, because I think that I like a good high school movie, but I do think that they can be rather cliched, and I think that a lot of them that have recognizable tropes within them and like have like similar jokes or things that they try to illustrate. So yeah, I think there's meat there.
As a trope scientist, I would argue that high school movies can't exist without tropes.
Yeah, I think that there's
Do you know
truth
what I
to
mean?
that. Yeah.
Like, not to insult kids, screw kids, but like kids are uncreative. That's why you go back to the caveman times. It's like you can't eat with Ook and friends. Like
right.
These same things are repeated over and over again.
Right.
But I'd also argue for that reason, I don't know if there's a lot of meat there. It's just why punch down at kids?
Yeah. I mean,
I think the best.
A lot of that.
Well, we were shitting on Veronica Mars before, but I think Veronica Mars works because it takes all that stuff and then turns it on its ear because it's also partially, a noir tale.
Right.
And so instead of having like gangsters and dames and stuff like that, you're kind of slotting these high school sort of stock characters into similar roles.
Yeah.
Or, if you got something like Lady Bird, which is like, or Booksmart, I guess, where you've got like similar things, but it's like this character is smart and kind of socially withdrawn, but it doesn't mean that they're like a total idiot like when it comes to social interaction.
Right.
Or you've got, this character is like is an athlete or something like that, but it doesn't mean they're totally stupid.
Right.
And then also when the characters are aware of the social restrictions that they find themselves in, then you have interesting conflict because they are trying to get out of those things.
Right.
I never would ask not another teen movie to explore any of these ideas that I'm bringing up here.
Right.
But, we get, and I feel like The Simpsons did this first, but we get like, oh, what a dog. And it's like, oh, take those glasses off. Oh, my God.
I know.
Oh, my God.
I know. Well, and one thing I think, I just don't understand why they made this choice. Like, so her glasses are taken off and her ponytail's taken out and she's not wearing the paint overalls and all of a sudden she's gorgeous. And
don't forget the paint on the overalls.
Yeah, exactly. But so she decides she's going to look like that for several scenes. And then we get spoilers, I guess, for a 15-year-old movie. I don't know.
It's more than that. You can't spoil it. Can't spoil garbage.
Okay. Well,
it's already rotten.
At the end, when she's at the airport, she's got her glasses and her ponytail again. I didn't check to see if her overalls had paint on them or not. But she went back to her old look. And yet Chris Evans still is like, oh, you're hot. So what is it? Like, are the glasses like really debilitating and make her ugly or not?
At that point, Jake didn't care. That was the point.
Although
not though, because then Molly Ringwald has to come in and tell us that this world is bullshit.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, hey, comedy movie, you just assassinated yourself at the end of your movie.
Yeah.
Also, John Hughes movies are real. So that means Molly Ringwald is an actress who is in those movies.
You are correct.
So is Molly Ringwald now work at an airport terminal? That seems to be what you're implying.
Yeah, but then
she's not just like somebody who looks kind of like Molly Ringwald, gives them some advice, and they're like, double take, and then just move on with the film.
But like you said, if she was real and it was supposed to be her, then wouldn't Janie be freaking out? Because
these are her favorite movies?
Yes.
Well, she's too busy trying to get this thing locked up with Jake. Or maybe get on the plane to go to art school.
Yeah, I know.
And I love the fact that they acknowledge at the end, he's like, maybe you should go on that plane. I mean, this is stupid. Like, we're only going to be together, through the summer.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go to Princeton or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I remember when Wet Hot American Summer did that.
Yeah.
Came out same year.
Right.
So Wet Hot American Summer is a better high school film than Not Another Teen Movie.
Yeah. I would actually agree with that, though. Yeah.
That's how that works. Why was Randy Quaid, he's just his character from vacation movies.
Vacation
why was he in Numb?
I don't know.
What was going on with that?
I think they just wanted to play up that he was like a dad who was not really there.
It's Harry Dean Stanton from Pretty in Pink.
Yeah.
He's kind of a drunk, he's kind of a loser, but he has these like chats with his daughter and and is kind of her moral center.
Right.
But like, why he's like a non-vet or something? He's having flashbacks?
Yeah, he's having flashbacks.
That's not from any high school movie I can think of.
No, I don't know why they decided to do that, honestly. and they decided that there is going to be beer cans and pies everywhere.
This is a really rough... I'm glad that I watched the entirety of Chris Evans' career in the MCU before having seen this movie. Because when you watch it now, a lot of Captain America acting in this.
Yeah.
The emotions that Jake Wyman feels and goes through don't match up to a lot of Cap's emotions, but I feel like people have really dropped the ball not cutting together something out of like that football huddle speech into something from the... You got to go out there. You got to be a hero. You got to do what you do, right? And you cut to Paul Rudd. Man, he's really good at that.
Right.
That'd be really... Somebody get on that.
I know.
That'd be easy.
There was some part in the movie that said something like Chris Evans said something along the lines like, I don't like making speeches. And it's like...
I don't like making speeches.
Whoa. Could not be more wrong.
So you made a bet to make a girl into prom queen.
I know.
There's also one, this movie is nothing but hubris. These idiots thinking that they could pull off this Tourette's humor. But there's one scene that I call the Bob Balaban scene. It's like the scene in Lady in the Water where...
Oh, boy.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
All the characters live in an apartment complex. A shitty apartment complex, including like a very famous movie reviewer for some reason. And the whole movie's about stories, right? And so to save the world, they have to like come up with this great story. But the one movie reviewer character's like, stories are stupid. They don't matter. What matters is something else, blah, blah, movie review, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That character is viciously eviscerated by a monster.
Yeah.
Because M. Night is really feeling it. And it's great that he felt it on this, really like his first major, huge flop.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the poop scene.
Ugh.
They go through all this trouble.
Oh, it's so gross.
To set up, I get like, all right, the boys are going to spy on a girl, but we're not going to see Porky's titties. It's going to be she's pooping.
Yeah.
Okay, that's, in your world, that's a good setup. But in the meantime, you got the English teacher, and he's like, is this what you people think is humor these days? Excrement and bodily functions and blah, blah, blah. And then they crash to the ceiling, and he gets hosed down with poop from the toilet.
It's so gross.
And I'm like, what are you trying to say?
I don't know. The third
Whoa.
teacher is...
You got
crap.
the critics there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just disgusting. And we never see that teacher ever again, so...
No. Why does he have an English accent?
I have no clue.
Pretension.
Yeah.
He's pretentious. Well, you wrote him. Anything else to say about this horrible turd of a film that's shooting out of a toilet hanging from the ceiling of the English classroom?
Not really. There's not a whole lot else
I have something to say.
Oh, okay. What do you have to say?
2001.
Yes.
It's funny how things work, and, you know, we are trope masters, and so we know media, but like 2001, this movie is quoting and referencing a bunch of films from the mid-'80s.
Yeah, and some 90s.
And then the heroics, well, I mean, yeah, those later ones. And then, like, the big heroic speech is given by Mr. T, a guy from the early 80s.
Yes.
This whole thing is like a pyramid of references that your target audience is not going to understand.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
What's the point?
I don't know.
And I gotta say, they're betting hard on anybody remembering Varsity Blues.
Right? And that's such a big part of it.
Yeah.
I don't think I actually ever saw that movie.
Well,
you know, I know it's about football. That's my, what I know.
Yeah. They just cast Reggie Ray was in Varsity Blues. He was literally that character.
Yeah.
And I think they might have had a storyline about him having a concussion in Varsity Blues. They just ported him in from the other movie.
Right.
And it's funny how things can happen. I was going to say, we know that the director never directed anything again, but I'm amazed anybody survived this film.
Yeah.
I thought that to myself. Then I started looking at the cast, and I don't think we survived that bus crash coach. I don't think anybody did survive this film.
Yeah, I know.
It took 10 years for Chris Evans to become Captain America.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the other guy was tiny nippled Vaughn on Community.
Right.
Two actors. Probably, depending on your tastes, equal in attractiveness in fair John Hughes High School where we lay our scene.
Yeah.
One of them would become one of the most famous, beloved cinematic characters of all time.
Yes.
with red, white, and blue underwear. The other would have tiny nipples on a failed NBC sitcom.
I know.
Justice for Vaughn, hashtag. That's what I say.
Oh my goodness.
That poor guy.
Wow.
And then everybody else, I mean, Sam Levine, but he's writing now. He's doing okay.
Yeah.
Chyler Lee, gone. Gone.
Mm.
I think it's her tiny eyes.
You think?
She's got a tiny eye problem.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I mean, Kristen Bell got over it, but she was in this. She was in That 80s Show, which was the sucky one-season follow-up to That 70s Show.
Which did not do well.
She was in the Taxi TV series, which was a TV series based on the Jimmy Fallon Taxi movie, which was a remake of a French film.
Weird.
And then gone.
Wow.
Although there's some weird Christianity going on there.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm not saying you can't have children, but she had like 3 kids like that, and then like every time you hear her, she's talking about like her blessings or whatever. I guess Jamie Presley did okay, but she did okay by bottom feeding.
Right.
All of her roles have been this, basically.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta say, like, I knew it was her, but there is a part of me who thought she looks a lot like Margot Robbie. You know, like.
Well, we're not talking about that yet.
Yeah, I'm right, but I just kind of got that from her in this movie.
From who?
Jamie Lee Presley. I think she kind of looks a little bit like Margot Robbie.
Oh, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Although Jamie Lee Presley could crush Margot Robbie. Jamie Lee Presley's like, she was like a dancer or a gymnast or something like before or during.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah, that's why I was surprised that she would be great in one of those step up, dance up, cheer.
Oh, sure.
Bring it up.
Yeah, I know
movies.
what you're talking about. But like Julia Stiles was.
Yeah. What? Julia Stiles.
She was huge for a while.
Had to learn to dance, to throw her rickety body around. But and then like Lacey Chabert, I guess they couldn't get Jennifer Love Hewitt, so another Party of 5 star. Is that what they were doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Party of 5 Kids was a Fox.
There's a new Party of 5.
I don't want to hear
about that.
I don't want to hear about it.
All right.
You know what I want to do instead?
What?
I want to talk about sex education.
All right, let's do it.
We didn't talk about Love, Simon.
No, we didn't.
I want to talk about it. I'm sure that there were sporadic high school movies after the year 2000, 2001, but not many. Mm-hmm. And you get them now and again, but I feel like now when you have a high school movie, there is a specific like point. Like there is something you're trying to explore. Mm-hmm. And I don't have a lot of great examples, except I just thought of Love, Simon.
Sure, yeah.
Which, if you look at it, pretty much goes through all the same tropes that we're talking about here. Yeah. They're just not funny.
Right.
And I'm trying to think of like other films. Did I say Lady Bird before?
I think you mentioned Lady Bird. Yes.
Lady Bird is, it is a similar situation, but it goes through and it like takes everything seriously. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it doesn't like, oh, if you've got a guy that's in football, then we definitely have to have a scene at the game or whatever. In Love, Simon, it's the mascot.
Right.
But in like Lady Bird, it's like, no, forget that. You've got to care. Like Timothy Chalamet has a band or he's cool or something like that.
Right.
But he's only a little part of her life because she's got a whole life.
Yeah, which I think is a nice...
High school movies have gotten better is what I'm saying.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And I think while using the same tropes. And a great example of that is the show Sex Education.
Yes.
What if you had as much sex, maybe more, than Not Another Teen Movie?
Maybe more.
But you took it seriously and it was real human beings engaging in that sex.
Right.
Sex Education.
Yeah. And real people having real problems.
Real people, real problems. It's the right thing to do.
Right. And Otis and Maeve continuing their sex
without
clinic.
like retreading entirely our season 1 review. What did you think about season 1 of Sex Education?
What did I think of season 1? I really enjoyed it. I think it explores some interesting things that we haven't necessarily seen before, because I feel like I feel like with every teen movie or teen drama, sex is always there kind of in the background. But I feel like with with this series, I mean,
cut to Anthony Michael Hall just holding up a pair of panties.
all right, yeah. I mean, I just think it's more front and center in this, and it's not trying to paint this picture of like, oh, there are some teens that are promiscuous and stuff like that, and then there are some teens who are not having sex at all. And I mean,
wait, sex education?
well, I mean,
Everybody's having sex in sex
I
education.
know, that's what I mean.
Which I first of all had to get over I don't want to watch teenagers have
Having
sex. It's
yeah.
weird. I've kind of gotten over that, thank God.
What?
And my Tumblr profile has gotten so much bigger now.
Oh my goodness.
No, and I just like I think it's important. This might be my favorite Gillian Anderson show.
Ooh, big words.
I think it's important that I don't know if kids watch this. I don't know if I want kids to watch this, but I love the fact that I think that we do need to just admit to ourselves and be open to the fact that kids have to learn about this somewhere.
Yeah.
And although, Gillian Anderson in the second season she's sort of running
formally
a sex clinic.
Yeah.
She wants to educate people on the logistics of it, but she wants to do like the pleasure side too. Like, here's what you do. And
right.
Like, is that
what you should be teaching?
Maybe
the
that's
kids?
where I'll be fuddy-duddy and I'll put my foot down on that if I was in the PTA. I'm not sure that's as important as like the safety issues, because the learning it is the fun part, right? Or it's supposed to be.
Right.
But anyway, I think I like the fact that this show is frank about the fact that kids are having sex. That being said, these kids are having a lot of sex, and it's very sophisticated.
Yeah.
I think Otis's experiences are probably like the most realistic.
I think you're right.
Oh, and then I wanted to say about the first season. I did complain about the first season just collapsed into high school tropery, where the guy likes the girl, she doesn't like him, the girl likes the guy, she doesn't like him. It literally ends at the prom.
I know. I think that was like the most tropey of all, for them to be like, it ends at prom.
And we also pointed out that they're literally doing something, aren't they? Because this is set nominally in England.
Yes.
And yet there's I think there's a football team. And
yeah, I think so.
The jocks wear leather jackets.
Right, which I was not aware.
No, this is not an English thing. And then Otis and his mom live in this like cottage, like this beautiful like wood like house on a river valley.
Yeah, I know.
It's shot in Wales, I think. At least a lot of it is. So I'm sure that there are valleys like that. But they're doing a thing. I think they put that filter, like in a show where, well, we're in LA, but we're going to go to Mexico. And they go to Mexico and everything's like kind of orange.
Yeah.
I think they're putting like a sunny filter on the scenes, because it always has this kind of rich, extra exposed color feel to it.
Yeah.
Which maybe they only shoot on days where the sun actually comes out, and then they use that filter and they make sure that everybody's wearing like, hey, I'm going to the dance later.
Right.
I don't know why they're doing that.
Well,
because later they're at a British military academy.
Yeah.
Maeve lives with a bunch of chavs in a trailer park.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I think is interesting about this show is I think it's supposed to take place present day.
Time.
Right. But like the clothes, like the clothing choices they have people wear.
Oh yeah,
they're so retro.
Even like, these kids are poor. No, these kids.
They're wearing these colorful,
deep
fun
closets.
fabrics, and yeah. And we don't see a whole lot of.
It's a choice.
Yeah. I don't feel like we see a whole lot of repeat outfits and stuff like that, but
I'm not gonna see those jeans again.
Oh boy. But yeah, I think that I really enjoyed season 1, and I'm enjoying season 2 so far. It's kind of interesting to see, Maeve trying to deal with like her emotions and stuff like that. And that's very
my
tropey.
Emotions. I feel like they've sold her character out.
You think so?
First of all, I don't think that she's a great character.
Oh, okay.
We are supposed to laugh at Janie.
Yes.
who may or may not have a gun.
Yes.
The only funny thing in the film that's not funny anymore.
Right.
Because of our real world dystopia.
Yes.
Just give us the gun, Janie. That's the only funny thing in the movie. We're supposed to think that, she's not like other girls.
No, you're right.
She listens to Bikini Kill.
Right.
And as she's painting, like, Rebel Girl is blasting, right?
Yeah.
Fast forward to 2020, and we're watching Sex Education, and Maeve opens up her locker. What's on the inside of the locker? Bikini Kill poster.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
and she's, like, reading, like, the bell jar.
Sylvia
and,
Plath.
like,
when she starts
Austin
painting,
Powers.
I riot.
Okay, fair.
We can start from a common place. We can start from the well of tropiness and go somewhere else. And we haven't gone anywhere else yet. Because, see, her mother, she's not around.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right?
Yeah.
And her brother, he's no good.
Who knows where?
Yeah. And I felt like it was interesting when Mr. Perfect and her were having like a, secret affair or whatever.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you can't go forever with that, so you try to do something. But now that that's over, I think we've sold out her character. Like, there's nowhere for her to go. Plus, she's in love with, they're like, what if the nerdy boy was in love with the beautiful rebel? No. What's something else? What if the beautiful rebel was in love with the nerdy boy? Why would she be? I mean, he's nice and he's a good guy. Like, I guess I know why he would be. But if she's got problems and she doesn't figure her life out, I don't like to see her just kind of mooning over this idiot who jerks off in his mom's car.
I know.
And plus we felt like we were going, we were at a place of breaking off in the first season where what's going to happen when we come back? Here's what's going to happen. We're going to do what every show does. We're going to spend the first couple episodes just resetting. So everything goes back to the way it was.
Right.
Thing is, Jackson, he doesn't like to swim.
Yeah, I know.
So what do? He's going to get involved in the school play. Oh, is his name Steve Holt?
I know.
I feel like the show is settling into all the tropes that we just got done complaining about.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, it's interesting, too, because he's getting tutored by somebody who, she's really smart, very
I like this character.
intelligent.
I wish I knew her name.
Yeah. Very academic. And she really coaches him well and everything. But she suggests to him he should find another hobby because most pro athletes are done by age 21 and blah, blah, blah. So he's like, I know, I'll do theater. And I'm sitting there thinking, having a theater degree myself, going from like, young athlete to theater person.
I've seen it happen.
I guess. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying it's not necessarily a more sustainable
you think Chris Evans
job.
didn't play ball in high school?
No, I'm sure he did. I'm just saying it's not like, well, now I'm going to be a doctor. You know what I mean? It's not like...
Yeah, but I don't like Jackson's character either. Because they did a whole season of his mom's push him.
Yes.
He doesn't like it. He just wants to be a regular kid.
Right.
Do that 4 or 5 times. And now he's like, what's he going to do? Be in the high school play.
Yeah.
And guess what play they're doing?
Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet.
Of course they are.
Are you guys doing, is this a Not Another Teen movie reference to high school movies?
Yeah.
It could have been, you could have picked anything.
I know.
And I like that the weirdo penis hands girl is like assistant directing.
Mm-hmm.
You could have picked any play. I'm sure she'll penis up R&J.
I'm sure she will.
Why not pick something?
Yeah.
You picked the most basic thing.
I know. And if you wanted to pick Shakespeare too, why not do something else?
It's about love.
Yeah, well, so is Much Ado About Nothing, but it's not Romeo and Juliet, so...
And the regular girl, I don't know.
Regular girl.
Whoever the girl is that they get to play Juliet is going to break her leg, and they're going to need a last-minute replacement. And Maeve, you're smart. You know a bunch of books and stuff like that, so Maeve's going to end up being
Oh, God, I
Juliet.
really hope you're wrong.
They're going to kiss, rekindle their love, and then... Otis will be in the audience and he'll be like, wait a minute, I'm in love with Maeve. And then,
oh my God, please let that not be true.
See what I mean?
Yes.
The writing on this show is great.
Mm-hmm.
The plotting,
it's more or less predictable with other things.
Great example. And a great example of how stupid and harmful something like Not Another Teen Movie is.
Yeah.
And how the good work that this show is doing. Episode 3, our dumb character.
Yeah.
Name I can't remember.
What is her name?
Yeah. The dumb character is, I don't want to say this right away because it gives away where I'm going, but is sexually assaulted on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the dumb character. Lots of dumb things happen to her.
Yeah.
We see her basically fully naked in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
So you think like it'd be easy to not have a lot of respect for this character. The show doesn't have any respect for this character. But as this episode progresses, Maeve's like, you were sexually assaulted, and so we're going to go to the police.
Yes.
And they go to the police. There's a lot of things they could have done with this, and maybe it's not realistic, but the police are nice. They listen to everything that she said.
Yeah.
We go through this whole thing. They drive her home.
Yeah.
And then we get, this is a little weird, but they start talking about their personal lives, and the cops are like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. And it's just like, it's a great example of if a kid is watching this, I don't care if the kid learns the clock technique or whatever.
You're right.
But I hope a kid sees this and goes, something like that happened to me.
Right.
You know? Or if something like that happens to me,
I'm going to report it.
I feel like I can go to the murderer from Utopia and he'll listen to, a nice cop will, you need to take this seriously.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like things happen to people and they don't know, especially in this crazy world where everybody's effing each other.
Yeah.
They don't know what's okay and what's not. And this show, which plays things for laughs, plays things, goofy character this, dumb thing that, the stuck-up characters still aren't really three-dimensional.
No.
They kind of came close in the first season. But this show is unequivocally is like, some things are not okay, and some things are important to take care of, and I thought that was great.
No, I think you make a good point.
But they'll sell out Maeve's character, though, no problem.
Oh, no.
She hates
I
birthdays.
hope so.
But she loves Bikini Kill.
Oh, come on. I thought Otis's gift to her was very sweet.
Yeah.
And then she was trying to tell him how she felt, but instead she just was like, I'm going to punch you in the face if you give me another birthday gift.
Right, because we have to tease one more time. They said, Otis, I have to tell you something.
Yeah.
You're a big
really
booger
important.
face.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. As the on-the-nose music rises.
Yeah, I know. That's, yeah.
I think this show is caught between having to be what people think it's going to be and having to be and trying to be something different. You know, and they need to go full Greta Gerwig with this and just, you know, take off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be their own thing.
Right.
That's what I think.
I think so too.
Otherwise, I'm liking it so far.
Yeah, me too. Gillian Anderson is great. I think a lot of the other actors are great too. Like, what's his name? Asa Butterfield, who plays Otis.
Yeah.
I think he's great.
Yeah, I never wanted to. He put the O face in Otis, and I never wanted to see that. But here we are.
And I really like his best friend Eric a lot. He laughs relentlessly at Otis and makes fun of him so much. I mean, I think even Otis gets fed up with it a little bit, but he just like, he's not afraid at all to like tell him, you know, you are in a ridiculous situation or you're a ridiculous person.
And they had to blow through this pretty fast because they had to get him again get him back in school. But he's off in military school. They have the thing where he makes friends with these guys.
Oh, what?
Then
like
he
Adam
finds
or
out
whatever?
that they, and we don't know. Sexuality is a spectrum. We don't know exactly what's going on, but these guys are kind of with each other. And he's like, look, I'm not going to tell anybody. And then they plant pot on him, but he refuses to out them because not only is, I think, Adam, you know, at heart a good person, but also that if they want to be soldiers and military guys or whatever, that could be the end of their dreams right there.
Right.
So they go through and they march all the way out to the end of the gate. And then he's like, no, screw it. These guys are jerking each other off and it's not my pot.
Right.
And then the guy's like, well, some things are best left unsaid.
Right.
Rum sodomy in the lash or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, how many turns did we go through there? After all that, it didn't matter, and I'm still in trouble with my dad.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's great. I guess that's plotting. Okay, some good plotting. But of course, it's all in service of just bringing him back to the show.
I know.
So he can see Eric with his new boyfriend.
Yes.
And be like, whoa. And it's like, they had like one thing.
I know. And then he's just back to being a jerk to him. So
Well, because it's recent.
I know. I do feel bad for him. He's trying to do the right thing, like with his dad and clean his car. Although I don't know why he decides to do it like right before his dad goes to work, but he left the window open and his dad's like, God dang it, you know?
Yeah, well, you know.
So, yeah, but
I think it's pretty much it. We find out that the English teacher is sleeping with the drama teacher
yeah,
/ health teacher.
Yeah,
which is like, I guess we have to like find other things to explore here.
Yeah, I know. And then like Adam's mom like almost seeks out advice from Otis's mom, Gillian Anderson, who's the sex expert.
How long do you think the show can go?
Oh, I guess it depends on what year they are in high school, which I don't know that we actually ever explicitly explored.
Sex application.
Ooh,
that they go to college.
I see what you're doing.
I think that 3 would be perfect. Because
I was kind of thinking that
Otis
too.
is, you know, emulating his mom, doing what she does at school.
Yeah.
Now she's at school, and they're kind of competitors without knowing it.
Yeah, she doesn't
Then we
know
break
about
that
it.
at the end of the second season, and we have the third season fallout. And I guess he dates his new stepdad's daughter.
I know.
It's
weird.
She needs to get on that. No matter how open-minded she is, we need to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah.
And
probably.
Gene, you need to probably step aside. But do you have a favorite high school film?
Oh, wow. That's a hard one.
Make it fast.
Well, I gotta say, when I was in junior high and high school, it was either Empire Records or Mallrats.
So Empire Records, they never actually go to school. Mallrats, a bunch of 25-year-olds pretending they're in high school.
Yes, and they also never actually go to school in that movie.
Okay.
Otherwise, I think I would say 10 Things I Hate About You. Really like that one a lot.
I used to pick the Larry Miller film.
Yeah, well. How about you? Do you have a favorite?
I was going to say Lady Bird.
Oh, okay, that's a good one.
Ginger Snaps?
I guess I could see it. Yeah, that's a good one. I like Ginger Snaps a lot.
Ginger Snaps takes some of the tropes that we know. I mean, it's, you know, we're with the nerd kids or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then it takes a pretty kind of obvious metaphor.
Oh, yeah. Like,
you know,
puberty and
puberty
stuff like
is lycanthropy or whatever.
Right.
But man, it steps on the gas. It goes the whole way with it.
Yeah, it totally does.
And there's a great relationship between, which you kind of have to throw out once it becomes a full-on horror movie, but between the mom and the daughters, because she doesn't really know exactly what's going on. But I feel like their relationship is sort of realistic in that she's kind of supportive of their stuff, but then she's also like, you guys have to get your shit together. Like, what's going on?
Well, and I think you bring up a good topic too, because I think it's kind of rare for teen movies for the relationship between the teens and the parents to actually be realistic. Like, I'm even like, you know, I'm looking at the ones that I just mentioned and they're weird, you know, like, at 10 Things I Hate About You, he's like, oh, like what they said in another teen movie, you can't date until your sister dates, and like there's no way your sister's gonna date because she's a roaring piece of work, you know. And like,
book smart.
Yeah,
they oh honey, let's
right.
We think that you're gay because you have a friend.
Yeah, which is weird. Like,
well,
all girls have friends,
yeah, well,
whether they're gay or not.
As
so
far as these parents are concerned,
yeah.
And Lady Bird, she literally, you know, basically like, no, what did her mom doubles back? I can't remember what happens at the end of Lady Bird. But anyway,
yeah.
It opens with her jumping out of a car to get away from her mom.
Yes.
And then she finally makes it all the way to New York City.
To college and stuff.
And calls her mom.
Yes.
To say that, to thank her for everything that she did.
Yeah, exactly.
We gotta stop talking about this. Oh, I want to say, you said it's rare. A medium rare?
Oh, well, I mean...
It's werewolves.
Oh, jeez.
So there we go. There's no reason for us to have specifically gone through every trope in science fiction. Science fiction high school.
Ooh, weird science.
Cut this out. Science fiction high... No, not weird science. They left weird science out, didn't they?
They did.
There wasn't any weird science. At one point, the nerds, and this happens, like the nerds are just doing their thing, and none of those actors ever did anything after this. Wait, man, Sam Levine, we already talked about that.
Yeah.
And then the one guy was in an episode of Mad Men or something, because he's got that, like, Dunder Mifflin face. It's not Dunder Mifflin. It's, what is it? Sterling Cooper. Sterling Cooper face.
Yeah.
But like suddenly they're in the detention, the library,
yes.
and dumb. But then what if they went home and put on lab coats and then, we've been working on this. I love the exposition at the beginning of these scenes to make them work. We've been working on this perfect girl project, right? And so they put all the things, and then the smoke comes out, and it's 2001, so it's Carmen Electra, right?
Yeah,
and she comes out, and she's like, "You boys want to? No!" She like whips them, and it's like it's too much. It's more than they bargained for.
Right.
That's the formula in these movies.
That could actually have been kind of fun.
I still want science fiction high school.
Yeah, I like that.
It's everybody. Buck Rogers is the quarterback.
Oh, I see.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Deja Thoris she's not like other girls.
Oh my gosh.
Right? She's Valedictorian, topless.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Who's Barbarella?
L. Sprague de Camp presents.
Yeah.
Science fiction. Oh, Barbarella.
Yeah.
She's the slut.
Okay.
Cheerleader.
Yeah.
Captain. The cheerleading squad. Should we cut this out?
Because you want to work on it.
It's an IP nightmare. You can never get it all together. And plus, Alan Moore already did it, probably.
Oh,
right.
Good point.
He's got that bottom drawer.
You pull it out on a rainy
next
day.
to his magic wand.
Yeah.
He's like, someday I'll publish this. It's my Alan Moore. Join us on the social medias at Facebook and Twitter at Just Enough Trope. If you like the show, let us know. And also, we've got a Discord. This is that place that you go. The kids have let me know about this, where you can communicate with other people if they like the things that you like.
That's right.
It's a discussion group.
Yep.
And it's even got chambers. Let's say that you only want to talk about high school. I don't know if we have a thing for that, but I know that we have a channel for movies and for film and video games and all these topics that often come up on this show. You can talk about there. So check out the link in the show notes for our Discord channel for the Just Enough Trope Network. Join us there. However you get the show, if you listen on a listening platform or service, subscribe to us there. That's the best way to get the show. It comes to you as soon as it's ready. Also, if you're on those services, give us a review and a rating. It's really not for us.
Right.
It's for those services.
Yes.
That's how they know. Yes. That's how they know we're doing a good job. And we move up the ranks.
That's correct.
This is our 2020 pledge is that we're going to beg you for ratings and reviews more because we have not done that. We've been lax on that. And apparently we need to do that because people don't think to do it.
That's right.
So the call to action is give us a review.
That's right.
Give us 5 paintings that are just stick figures.
Yes.
But the joke is she's furiously throwing paint at the canvas and pull back and it's just a stick figure.
I know. I actually thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, you like that.
Yeah, I did.
I didn't think it was minimalist enough. It should have been even less.
Oh, okay.
Smaller, maybe monochrome.
Okay, sure.
Let me know that we couldn't possibly have gotten here from there.
Right.
That would be the joke, right?
Right, yeah.
But instead, she's just like wildly throwing all this paint on there, and
I know. And I don't know if you noticed this or not, but like the time when
or it's the Mona Lisa.
Right.
The
time when Chris Evans comes down and she's painting and she doesn't have the glasses on anymore. In the background, there are a bunch of her paintings around the basement, and they're all stick figures.
Okay. Yeah. It doesn't do much for me.
Okay. All right.
I like that Janie got a gun, though. So give us 5 stars instead. We'd appreciate it. We'll be back next week.
Yes.
To talk about my speech impediment. And until then, we're signing off. I'm Biplos Kelsvan.
Co-host Mika Nana.
Keep the geek fires burning.